Okay, that was close. I just caught wind that my neighbor is on his way. What happened is I got interrupted yesterday. Actually, that was 2 days ago. My bad. Haste makes waste, right? Hence the apparel change. But I've been shooting videos in the sun today, all for your viewing and learning pleasure. But I got wind because I did not get to finish the spoiler. I want to do a 50-50. I will cross-link the videos, so check the description box below, or at the end of the video, I'll put a little thumbnail up there that will take you to the other video so you can see the comparison between the dual action. And then what I thought I would do is like, okay, let's check out the difference. And I'll bring you in right now because he is on his way here, and I am trying to literally go in covert mode and surprise him with this video. But what I thought I would do, and rather than just doing a basic 50-50 and showing the dual action, is I thought I would do a comparison with the rotary, see if we can see some discernible results at the end. So let me bring you in for that first. Which is, and this spoiler's tough because of the curvature and the position it is in relation to the sun and my ability to set up a camera. So here we got tons of what you guys would call swirl marks. This pattern that's, you know, the light that's scattered from the reflection of the sun. That is what most of you would call swirl marks, which is a video for another time, which, oh, by the way, I already shot a few videos on that. And here is what I did 2 days ago with the dual action. I plan on making this one single video, but in the event of I have to make it two for whatever reason in the editing process. So before I get too far, time out, Your Honor, or what do they say? Sidebar, Your Honor. Oh no, this is sports. Time out, sidebar, Your Honor. I want to know which viewer first will tell me, and you're gonna have to watch the first video because I did not tape up this like I did, or I taped up this and I did not do it in the first video. Question is why is Darren doing that? I'm not going to tell you why. I just want to see who the first person is that knows precisely why I'm doing that. And don't be generic like, oh, protection or dramatization. I want you to be specific because there's a very specific reason that I did that. So with that said, is I've got my Milwaukee rotary polisher. Now because I'm going to go in for the initial cut with CSI's blue wool pad. The blue designates it as a pre-washed wool pad. 100% wool, 4-ply. Low linting. That is not the same as no linting, which that pad does not exist. So these fibers will naturally scatter in the process, but that's where the trade-offs come in. This is the most aggressive way to do paint correction aside from wet sanding. Now for the initial cut, I'm gonna dial this to 1400 RPM, right there. And when we are training guys, we say apply the polish right to the middle. Place it onto the surface, infuse the polish into the pad, and now you're going. Welcome to the world of video production. Still rolling. Now this actually can be a good learning moment. So expand your mind for a moment and cease your prejudices. So if this was a solvent-based product, this would be a scary moment because the solvents would sit there and dwell on the hot paint and they could cause the clear coat to swell, and that can swell to a degree that it's permanent, so it could do permanent damage, which is why most products will say apply to the pad, not to the surface. Because if I did this and I got interrupted like I just did because the camera fell over because the wind blew, it's like, oh my gosh, panic mode. But I'm not in panic mode because I know the winning attributes of this product, namely in this moment, waterborne technology. Allow me to illustrate, and this is a massive sidebar. So this is just distilled water. Come on, prime the pump. look what happens. Literally breaks down. I mean, is that cool or what? And just for some context, this paint is, because I did a measurement, is hovering right around 160 degrees. That is not considered cool paint, never mind shaded paint. But any damage? Zero. I love it. So before I got so rudely interrupted, I apply the polish to the middle, infuse it into the pad, and now this is like my painter's palette. So I go up onto an edge and do the heavy cutting. When I need some more polish, I come back down, infuse it from the center, and then when the polish eventually dries up or I need to replace it, I apply some more polish. Now, in case you're wondering why I taped up this edge and not this edge, is because this one is way rounded and it doesn't like shoot up like this edge does. So this edge shoots up at a sharper angle, and it's sharper, the edge is sharper itself. So I know when I hold the pad just flat, there's going to be a gap right under here. This pad's malleable, but not that malleable. So I know if I was just going to be polishing like this with the pad flat, it's going to produce greater levels of friction over here and over here, more particularly over here. Therefore, I use some protection. That's the kind of stuff that just doesn't translate onto video very well, unless I call it out for you guys. What's also not translating very well, probably, is that I am in fact going up on an edge. But because I'm not being extreme about it, it's not going to be totally obvious to you guys. But I am going up on an edge to do the heavy lifting, the initial cutting, because I really want to produce some real distinction and results without sacrificing the integrity of the clear coat. That's the balancing act. This paint is almost 22 years old. I accept that it's naturally going to be thinned out in the process of this thing called life and living in this thing called the world. So it's this fine balancing act between your canvas, what you're using, your skill set, the customer, what they're willing to pay, the desired results that you are chasing. I'm not chasing perfection here. Got me a fresh microfiber cloth. Do a wipe down. And honestly, at this point, because once again, I want to retain the integrity of the clear coat, I know that I'm done polishing. If there's still some blemishes, like right here, I think is a scratch that I can grab a nail on. Right there, I'm grabbing my thumbnail on that scratch. I ain't gonna chase that out. Digging that out would mean I would remove the clear coat. So at this point, I'm gonna remove the tape because I've done the heavy lifting. And now, this is one of my strategies, is there's gonna be some polish that got built up right along the tape line there. Now I can sit here and rub and get that to come off, which for this polish is not gonna be a big issue, but it can be an issue. So what I want to do is just remove the tape, and now I'm just gonna finesse, because I have to finesse it anyways, with the foam pad to remove any hologramming or swirl marks. This is the blue, or I'm sorry, this is the red finishing pad, red foam. It's got the hub centering ring system for the back, our dedicated backing plate. Alignment is a snap. And this is one of the many beauties of a single product polish, which means, yes, I switch pads to remove the swirl marks, but I'm sticking with the same polish. Now the foam pad, and when we train, we basically do the same. Apply it in the middle, but because it's a foam pad, this is a smaller section. I'm working in the sun. I'm gonna kind of go off the grid, off the reservation a little bit. What I will do is I'll dial this down to 800 RPMs and just finesse. And all I'm trying to do now is refine the paint by removing any swirl marks that may be present, also called holograms. Because I'm not particularly worried about that edge at this point in time, because I'm using low RPM, a foam pad, and I'm finessing it. I'm not applying a bunch of downward pressure. I can safely remove the tape line, and by tape line I mean the polish that gets wadded up right against the tape, and now it's just basically like, well, it's as close to perfect as I'm going to get, because I have to factor in the clear coat. I don't want to destroy the clear coat. So it's really hard, this spoiler, trying to catch the reflection of the sun. So let's see if I can do it. Okay, I'm done with that. For the sake of time, I'm going to undress, disrobe the work here, and I'll be curious to see who decided why I taped off this section. Now, working outdoors in direct sunlight on hot paint is by far ideal situation. So what I could be doing is chasing my tail and just wiping off dust and dust and dust. So at some point I have to call it quits and say, okay, I accomplished what I came in to accomplish. So what I'm using right now is the Q7 detailer, totally safe in the sun. This is not a traditional detailer, meaning it has no additives for gloss enhancement. It is, a better name would be a Q7 cleaner, but not in the traditional cleaning sense. I have many videos on this. It's an amazing product, an incredibly tight emulsion, waterborne technology, body shop safe. So this is where I can use it just to clean up my residue of polish. Not a requirement, it's just that working in direct sun makes it a little simpler, a little easier. Right here will be the line, and then right there will be the line, because I want you to be able to see the difference. Let's see if I can catch the sun. So the green tape is mostly for my, well, yours as well, in case it doesn't show up. I'm gonna just, scan around because I'm not sure where the lighting is gonna cast, especially with the curvature of this spoiler. Okay, party people. Okay, in closing, don't forget to check the links below. And on your way out, give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, why the heck not? Pretty sure you've gathered a bit of wisdom, knowledge, information along the way that should prove useful in your own world if you decide to take on these challenges. And let's see, check the links. I'll connect this to the first video if I don't make this one single video, and we will see you on the next video.